boom. Lu Rui was injured by Lung Qi's aura, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Lung Qi's aura swept out again and pressed against him, forcing him to take a few steps back. Wah, wah. With every step back, Lu Rui spat out a mouthful of blood as his face turned pale. Boom. Despair showed in Lu Rui's eyes when he saw the third wave of Lung Qi's aura swept out. Although he was a martial artist at the peak of the void, his strength was nothing compared to the Lu clan's 3 major guardian elders who were martial monarch powerhouses. He was just like an ant at their mercy in the eyes of martial monarch powerhouses like Lung Qi. He was already breathless and injured when the other party merely exuded his aura. If Lung Qi did that a few more times, it was highly likely he would be killed by Lung Qi's aura. Humph. At the moment when Lu Rui thought he was going to die, he felt a strong breeze next to him. A purple figure stood in front of him and shielded him. Elder Duan. Lu Rui's face changed dramatically when he saw the familiar figure. The reason he had rushed to the front was to help Elder Duan. That was why he became anxious when he saw Duan Ling Tian shielding him. He thought everything he had done was in vain. However, his expression froze on his face in the very next moment. God, what did he see? He watched as the purple-clad young man stood in front of him and allowed Lung Qi's aura to sweep over his body. However, he was not affected at all. He stood there as still as a mountain. Elder Duan's strength. He's so strong. Lu Rui's face was filled with amazement. Although he knew about Elder Duan's background and how he had killed one of their Lu clan's elder who was at the 8th level void transformation, he thought Elder Duan's cultivation was at most on par with him, which was at the peak of the void. However, the current scene had undoubtedly changed his view of Elder Duan. He's worthy of being the 3rd reincarnation of the Rebirth Martial Emperor. He's already at the martial monarch stage at such a young age. Lu Rui thought Duan Ling Tian was a martial monarch powerhouse based on the fact that he could directly face Lung Qi's aura. It made one wonder what his expression would be like if he found out Duan Ling Tian was not a martial monarch powerhouse. And, on the other hand, Cheng He, who was initially calm, was stunned. He had a solemn expression on his face when he saw Duan Ling Tian was unaffected by Lung Qi's aura. Who is he? Not only is he a grade 1 alchemist at such a young age, but he could also face Lung Qi's aura. Cheng He was completely shocked by Duan Ling Tian. When Lung Qi realized his aura did not affect Duan Ling Tian, there were some changes on his indifferent face. Suddenly, Lung Qi stepped forward. His hand extended out as fast as lightning as it headed toward Duan Ling Tian. Boom, 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 boom. In that instance, the heaven and earth energy stirred at the void above Lung Qi's head. It was followed by a thunderous air explosion that showed his power. Duan Ling Tian's face sank. His eyes gleamed coldly when he saw Lung Qi aiming his hand at him. Currently, his strength had greatly improved. Hence, he was able to stay as calm as still water in the face of a martial monarch powerhouse like Lung Qi. Duan Ling Tian was calm, and his face turned solemn. He could see that Lung Qi was not an ordinary martial monarch powerhouse. At least, he was not one that Duan Ling Tian was a match for, even though Duan Ling Tian's strength was comparable to ordinary martial monarch powerhouses. When Duan Ling Tian was about to retreat, a short-lived sound of sword whistling reverberated in the air. He was stunned when he heard how familiar that sound was. In the next moment, he saw a sword-shaped flame sweeping toward Lung Qi with great momentum. Tian Wu. When Duan Ling Tian saw the sword-shaped flame, his face changed dramatically. He recognized the person. It was Feng Tian Wu. More accurately, it was the Feng Tian Wu who had amnesia. Duan Ling Tian moved in the next moment. However, he did not rush toward Lung Qi, nor did he rush to Feng Tian Wu, who was attacking Lung Qi with her sword. His target was Cheng He, who stood at the side while he watched all the action. Whirlwind. Instantly, Duan Ling Tian seemed to have transformed into a hurricane and flew toward Cheng He. He did not hold back and exerted all his strength. All 5 9th-level void transformation concepts were cast. It was equivalent to 5,000 ancient horned dragon strength. The 9th-level advanced earth concept drew support from earth energy and added another 500 ancient horned dragon strength. He fueled the fire concept with the wind concept. As the 9th-level advanced wind concept merged with the 9th-level advanced fire concept, the latter surged and added another 500 ancient horned dragon strength. All of the concepts Duan Ling Tian had comprehended when fully exerted were equivalent to 6,000 ancient horned dragon strength. Additionally, his 9th level void transformation's origin energy gave him another 1,200 ancient horned dragon strength. His current speed was driven by 7,200 ancient horned dragon strength. So, due to that, Duanling Tian was so fast that Changhe, who was a first-level martial monarch, could not react in time. An ordinary first-level martial monarch stage martial artist's origin energy fully exerted was equivalent to 2,000 ancient horned dragon strength. A first-level monarch stage profundity was equivalent to 2,000 ancient horned dragon strength. Two types of 9th level void transformation stage concepts were equivalent to 2,000 ancient horned dragon strength as well. In total, it was 6,000 ancient horned dragon strength. Changhe belonged in the ordinary category. Therefore, Duanling Tian had an additional 1,200 ancient horned dragon strength compared to Changhe. In an instant, Duanling Tian arrived near him. On the other hand, Lung Qi's killing intent rose when he faced Feng Tianwu. However, his face changed dramatically, and he became anxious when he noticed Changhe's situation. Following that, he hurriedly swatted Feng Tianwu's attacking sword aside. Meanwhile, Changhe quickly flew to the side as his piercing gaze shifted from Feng Tianwu to Duanling Tian. Boom! His palm met with Feng Tianwu's sword that contained more than 8,000 ancient horned dragon strength. It completely neutralized the force contained in Feng Tianwu's sword and forced her to take a few steps back. Feng Tianwu paled, and her body was on the verge of collapsing. It was apparent she was suffering from internal injuries. Don't kill him. At this time, an urgent voice sounded and caused Feng Tianwu and Lu Rui's faces to change dramatically. Bang! Feng Tianwu was startled by a large explosion. There was panic in her eyes. In the distance, the purple-clad young man was batted away with a boom. The purple-clad young man had decided to charge at Changhe when he saw Feng Tianwu. It was a case of trying to besiege Wei to rescue Zhao. Ouch! Duanling Tian vomited blood as his body flew out like a fired arrow. The only thing he felt was the sharp pain in his body. That feeling was very uncomfortable. The part that hurt the most was his chest, followed by his internal organs, and finally all over his body. Pain. It hurts. These were the thoughts running through Duanling Tian's mind. Due to his injuries, Duanling Tian found it hard to mobilize his origin energy. Due to that, he was batted off by Lung Qi's palm. He flew back in the distance before he finally fell to the ground. A flame-like figure immediately lunged toward Duanling Tian. Although the red-clad woman did not say anything, the anxiety between her brows displayed her emotion. Elder Duan. Lu Rui's face changed dramatically as he hurried over. When he flew toward the injured Duanling Tian who had fallen to the ground, a weird bead appeared in his hand. He crushed it the instant it appeared. Duanling Tian would have recognized the bead if he saw it. It was a bead inscribed with detection inscription. Once it was crushed, it would be detected by the intended people, and they would come rushing over. In the entire Lu clan, there were only a few people Lu Rui could summon by crushing the bead. They had to be at the martial monarch stage or higher. I'm alright. Duanling Tian, who laid on the ground, was miraculously able to stand after he consumed a grade 1 life recovery pill he had refined. Undoubtedly worthy of being a grade 1 life recovery pill with more than 90% purity. Changhe's eyes brightened as he witnessed this scene. His breathing instantly quickened. Imagine it. If he could obtain the method of refining grade 1 pills with such high purity, his status in the Alchemist Guild of Cloud Continent would definitely rise. It was even possible for him to be the guild master of the Cloud Continent's Alchemist Guild, the supreme main guild. At that time, he would be worshipped by other alchemists. I must obtain the method of refining grade 1 pills with such high purity. Changhe's gaze gradually turned steely. This was the reason why he shouted at Lung Qi to spare Duanling Tian's life. He still wanted to obtain the method of refining grade 1 pills with such high purity from Duanling Tian. He would have come in vain if Duanling Tian died. Duanling Tian had accurately guessed Changhe's thought. That was why he had risked himself to save Feng Tianwu with the tactic of besieging Wei to rescue Zhao. If he did not do that, Feng Tianwu would have certainly died. Although he risked his life by doing so, he made a gamble that he would stop Lung Qi from killing him. The fact proved that he was right. Duanling Tian, don't blame me for being brazen since I gave you face. And you didn't want it. Changhe looked at Duanling Tian and coldly said, I'll spare your life today if you tell me the method of refining grade 1 pills with more than 90% purity. Cheng-He was here for Duan Ling Tian. After everything that had transpired, Cheng-He finally stopped playing games and stated his intention for coming to the Lu clan. Duan Ling Tian was not surprised by the turn of events since he had already guessed Cheng-He's intention since the beginning. Lu Rui, who was standing aside, looked upset after Cheng-He stated his intention. Most people did not know about the reason behind Duan Ling Tian's grade 1 alchemist status at such a young age, and his ability to refine extremely pure grade 1 medicinal pills. However, Lu Rui was one of the few who knew the secret behind it. Duan Ling Tian was a formidable alchemist in his past life. He had cultivated medicine refinement Dao to an extremely high level, and he had retained all his memory and experience when he reincarnated. That explained his innate talent in medicine refinement and why he was a natural grand alchemist. He was able to condense pill fire of various grades as long as cultivation was sufficient. Cheng-He thinks that Duan Ling Tian has some sort of secret technique that helps him refine medicinal pills with extremely high purity since he's so young. It was not difficult for Lu Rui to figure out Cheng-He's thoughts and intention. As the clan leader of Lu clan, he was calm and wise. Lu Rui knew for a fact that Cheng-He was wasting his effort. The ability to refine medicinal pills with an extremely high purity that Duan Ling Tian possessed was nearly impossible for anyone else to replicate. His ability was inherited from a lifetime worth of hard work and accomplishment of a powerful being from the past. What if I refuse to share the secret to my ability with you? What would you do? Will you kill me? Duan Ling Tian calmly replied. He was completely unmoved by Cheng-He's threats. First, I will kill all those you care for. Then, I will torture you slowly until I break you before I would even consider killing you. Cheng-He said coldly. He intentionally shifted his gaze to Feng Tianwu when he spoke. There was a hint of viciousness in his eyes. Duan Ling Tian's face changed when the words left Cheng-He's mouth. Every dragon had a reverse scale. One would certainly die if one touched it. Duan Ling Tian's reverse scale was the people he cared about. He would not complain or hesitate if someone stronger wanted to kill him, since he would accept that he was weaker. However, he would not sit still if someone wanted to kill or harm the people he cared about. Duan Ling Tian stared at Cheng-He coldly and said with a straight face, Cheng-He, you're playing with fire. Playing with fire. Those who played with fire would get burned. This was the meaning Duan Ling Tian was implying. Playing with fire? Cheng-He laughed uproariously. I cannot speak for everyone, but I'm rather confident of my ability to play with fire. I can even control and master grade 1 pill fire. There's no reason for me to fear ordinary fire. Cheng-He looked at Duan Ling Tian mockingly, as though Duan Ling Tian had cracked a joke. Cheng-He stared at Duan Ling Tian coldly as he asked, So, you've made up your mind? Duan Ling Tian looked at Cheng-He with contempt before exclaiming, Humph, useless trash. Cheng-He stared at Duan Ling Tian calmly. He patiently said, I won't be affected by your words. It seemed as though Cheng-He was completely unruffled by Duan Ling Tian's ridicule. I know what you're doing. You think by infuriating me, I'll rush into a battle with you directly. Although I'm not sure how you achieved such power at such a young age, I'm sure I'm no match for you. I'm a fool if I fall into your trap. Duan Ling Tian's face changed after Cheng-He called him out. However, it seemed as though he had noticed something and recovered a moment later. Who? 3 gusts of wind blew into the main hall. The silhouettes of 3 elderly figures appeared and surrounded Lu Rui and Duan Ling Tian. The silhouettes belonged to 3 old men. One of them was as round as a ball, the other was as thin as a stick, and the final one had an average body size. Duan Ling Tian recognized all 3 of them. They were the guardian elders of Lu clan, Lu Yuan, Lu Gui, and Lu Ji. They were the pillars of Lu clan and were all martial monarch powerhouses. Clan leader, Elder Duan, and Miss Tian Wu. The 3 of them greeted Lu Rui along with Duan Ling Tian and Feng Tianwu after they appeared before they simultaneously looked at Cheng-He and Lung Qi guardedly. They rushed over to the main hall as soon as they noticed Lu Rui had crushed the bead inscribed with detection inscription. As the guardian elders of Lu clan, they were very familiar with the current clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui. They knew Lu Rui would never crush that bead unless he was in dire straits. That was why they had rushed here without any hesitation or consideration. Soon after, another gust of wind blew into the main hall, and another elderly silhouette appeared. This silhouette belonged to a man with white hair and brows. He looked very similar to an immortal. The old man stood next to Lu Rue calmly. Former clan leader. When the old man appeared, Lu Rue and the 3 guardian elders of Lu clan all greeted him respectfully. The old man was none other than the previous clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Qiu. Former clan leader? The previous clan leader of Lu clan. Duan Ling Tian was shocked. He did not expect the previous clan leader of Lu clan to still be alive. Moreover, he was currently here in the hall. Lu Qiu greeted Lu Rue before he glanced at Cheng He and Leng Qi. How impressive. The Alchemist Guild now dares to challenge the Lu clan's honor. Lu Qiu said sarcastically. There was a tinge of anger in his voice. Cheng He forced a smile on his face and greeted Lu Qiu. I've long heard that you're the most powerful in the Lu clan, and I must say, I'm impressed after meeting you. Lu Qiu completely disregarded him and focused his attention on the azure-clad middle-aged man, Leng Qi. Flash. Without any warning, Lu Qiu shot toward Leng Qi like a cannonball being shot out of a cannon. Flash. Leng Qi also flew toward Lu Qiu like a bullet at the same time, without any hesitation. Both of their silhouettes vanished at the same time. Bang! A loud explosion resonated in the air. Everyone saw Lu Qiu and Leng Qi was around 10 feet apart. They each took about 5 steps back before stopping and focused on the other party. A powerful sonic explosion spread out from the point Lu Qiu and Leng Qi separated before it quickly turned into a strong gust of wind that ruffled everyone's clothes. The heaven and earth phenomenon that was brewing in the void above disappeared as swiftly as it appeared. The battle between Lu Qiu and Leng Qi was over in a blink of an eye. Everyone knew both of them were evenly matched. Lu Qiu glanced at Leng Qi and said, "No wonder the Alchemist Guild came here to challenge the Lu clan's honor. It's because they have you. You're good as well." Leng Qi's face was still as cold as ever, but there was a hint of fear in the depth of his eyes. In a blink of an eye, everything was resolved. The brief battle between Lu Qiu and Leng Qi ended with a tie. At this moment, Cheng He's grin had frozen on his face. He did not expect Lu Qiu would be as powerful as Leng Qi, even though Cheng He knew Lu Qiu was the strongest person in the Lu clan. Damn it, Lu Qiu. Cheng He could not resist cursing Lu Qiu in his heart. This meant that his 3-month wait was all for nothing. So near yet so far. He blamed his failure on Lu Qiu, the former clan leader of Lu clan. His plan would have succeeded if it was not for Lu Qiu. Former clan leader is no doubt the strongest person in Lu clan and is well deserving of that title as well. Cheng, he said with admiration. There was a smile on Cheng He's face since Lu Qiu's arrival, even though he was constantly cursing Lu Qiu in his heart. Cheng He knew he had lost his chance after Lu Qiu's arrival. Hence, he left with Leng Qi without further ado. Thank you, former clan leader. Duan Ling Tian smiled and thanked Lu Qiu after he saw Cheng He and Leng Qi leaving in a haste. You're welcome, Elder Duan. Lu Qiu was flattered when he heard Duan Ling Tian thanking him. Duan Ling Tian noticed Lu Qiu's gaze on him was somewhat unnatural since the beginning. He confirmed his suspicion when he saw how flattered Lu Qiu was after he thanked him. Could it be that he has found out about my real identity? Duan Ling Tian suspected Lu Qiu had already figured out his identity. Duan Ling Tian felt more and more confident of his suspicion as minutes passed. Hold on. Clan leader swore by 99 heavenly tribulation to keep my identity a secret. How did former clan leader find out about it? This puzzled Duan Ling Tian, and he could not help but ask Lu Rue about it through voice transmission. Lu Rue explained the matter to Duan Ling Tian, including the former clan leader's suspicion about his identity. Oh, now I understand. Duan Ling Tian understood everything after the explanation, and the unanswered questions in his mind were resolved. 2 silhouettes left as fast as 2 bolts of lightning above the Lu clan's estate. The 2 silhouettes belonged to Cheng He and Leng Qi. However, the direction they were headed in was not in the direction of the Alchemist Guild. Lu clan Lu Qiu, I won't let this slide so easily. Cheng He murmured as his eyes gleamed coldly. Let's go. We'll head to the O clan first. Then we'll head to the Weapons Craftsmen's Guild in the southern outer land. Cheng He closed his eyes and flew ahead after he spoke to Leng Qi. Are you feeling better? After the Lu clan senior officials left, Duan Ling Tian looked at Feng Tian Wu, who had just consumed a grade 1 life recovery pill, with obvious concern on his face. And Feng Tian Wu nodded slightly. At this moment, the coldness on her beautiful face had faded a little, and a faint blush was revealed on her face. Why did you do that? Feng Tianwu stared into Duan Ling Tian's eyes. What do you mean by why did I do that? Duan Ling Tian was stunned. He did not know what Feng Tianwu meant. Earlier, that old man wouldn't have retaliated if you didn't attack him, Feng Tianwu said. As one of the parties involved, she knew very well what had happened. Duan Ling Tian did that just to save her. Naturally, she could see he had taken a great risk by doing that. He could have been killed for saving her. I won't let anything happen to you. Duan Ling Tian's reply was simple and clear. I won't let anything happen to you. That short sentence made Feng Tianwu's heart pound and filled her with happiness. In that instant, Feng Tianwu's gaze on Duan Ling Tian softened. Besides, you attacked him to save me. If something happens to you because of that, I won't be able to explain it to Uncle Feng. In fact, I won't be able to forgive myself for it, Duan Ling Tian said solemnly. Feng Tianwu nodded slightly. The coldness on her face had almost fully disappeared when she faced Duan Ling Tian. However, Feng Tianwu's face turned cold again when a loud voice sounded from outside. Young master, what happened? It was Xiong Quan who came late. It was obvious that she had only accepted Duan Ling Tian. It did not include anyone else. Nothing. It's just a small matter, Duan Ling Tian said as he smiled faintly. A small matter? Xiong Quan frowned as he looked at the bloodstains on the main hall's floor. Could it be a small matter when there was so much blood? Young master, are you hurt? Xiong Quan asked anxiously as he looked at Duan Ling Tian with concern. The blood belongs to the others, Duan Ling Tian said. He thought to himself, well, most of it belongs to the others. Most of it belonged to Lu Rue. However, some belonged to him after he was injured by Long Qi in order to not worry Xiong Quan. He did not elaborate further. Xiong Quan heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. I'll go back to my room and continue cultivating. Feng Tianwu left after she said that to Duan Ling Tian. She came in a hurry and left in a hurry. Young master, I'll also go back to my room and continue my cultivation. After Xiong Quan confirmed that Duan Ling Tian was fine, he was also anxious to resume his cultivation. Currently, his only hope was to improve his cultivation base so that he could be more of a help to his young master. Go, Duan Ling Tian nodded. Feng Tianwu and Xiong Quan left one after another, and Duan Ling Tian was the only one left in the main hall. Chenghe, Ling Qi. Duan Ling Tian's face instantly darkened as his eyes gleamed coldly. If it was possible, he wanted to kill both of them with his own hands. Chenghe had threatened him with those who were close to him. He had treated Chenghe as a dead man the moment he touched his reverse scale. If he had the chance, he would not let Chenghe live. As for Ling Qi, he would not let him off even though he was just a lackey because he dared to hurt Tianwu. Strength. I'm still too weak. Duan Ling Tian hated that he was currently too weak. If his strength had surpassed Ling Qi, none of this would have happened. I'll keep comprehending profundities through profundity fragments. As long as I can comprehend the wind profundity, sword profundity, and earth profundity, my strength will improve to another level. At that time, my origin energy will transform, and my cultivation base will be at the martial monarch stage. Once I enter the martial monarch stage, the potent medicinal efficacy of the rebirth pill that's hidden deep in my dantian would be triggered. At that time, my cultivation base would improve by leaps and bounds. Duan Ling Tian muttered to himself as his eyes brightened. Finally, he seemingly transformed into a gust of wind and returned to his room. After Duan Ling Tian returned to his room, he instantly retrieved 3 profundity fragments to simultaneously comprehend 3 different profundities. Once all 3 concepts complete the transformation and turn into profundities, and I enter the first level martial monarch stage, my strength will change dramatically. Duan Ling Tian was 100% certain about that. Currently, he was prepared to improve 3 types of concepts. If any of it transformed into a profundity, even if it was just a first-level monarch stage profundity, it would add an extra 1,000 ancient horned dragon strength. That's 1-fold more compared to before the breakthrough. 3 types of profundities would add another 3,000 ancient horned dragon strength. Moreover, as long as he comprehended the first-level monarch stage wind profundity, he would also obtain the first-level monarch stage fire profundity. That would mean he had elevated 4 concepts into profundities. 4 types of 9th-level void transformation stage concepts compared to 4 types of first-level monarch stage profundities. The former was equivalent to 4,000 ancient horned dragon strength, whereas the latter was equivalent to 8,000 ancient horned dragon strength. The difference was obvious. If the latter was added with the first-level monarch stage earth profundity that could draw support from the earth energy, and he fueled the fire profundity with the wind profundity, his strength would equal to the strength of 10,000 ancient horned dragons. That was only the strength of the profundities. A first-level martial monarch stage's origin energy, when fully exerted, was equivalent to 2,000 ancient horned dragon strength. The quasi-royal grade spirit sword granted a one-fold increase, which meant that he would have an additional 2,000 ancient horned dragon strength. With his 9th-level advanced thunder concept, Duan Ling Tian's full strength was equivalent to 15,000 ancient horned dragon strength. Naturally, the heaven and earth phenomenon would also have an earth-shattering change. Just like how one ancient horned dragon silhouette could replace 10,000 ancient mammoth silhouettes, there would be a new heaven and earth phenomenon to replace the 10,000 ancient horned dragon silhouettes. 15,000 ancient horned dragon strength. I should be on par with that Lung Qi. However, it's still lacking if I want to win him, Duan Ling Tian thought to himself. Although he could not identify Lung Qi's actual cultivation base with his spiritual energy, he could discern how strong Lung Qi was from his attacks. Both Lung Qi and the former clan leader didn't use any spirit weapons when they fought. According to my estimation, their strength should be more than the strength of 10,000 ancient horned dragons. Their cultivation base should be around the 4th-level martial monarch stage, Duan Ling Tian speculated. At that time, both Lung Qi and Lu Qiu gave their best in the fight. However, they did not reveal their actual strength since the battle was short-lived. The stirring heaven and earth energy did not have time to form the heaven and earth phenomenon. All of this was merely Duan Ling Tian's deduction. Nevertheless, Duan Ling Tian had the combined memories of the Rebirth Martial Emperor's previous 2 reincarnations. He trusted his own judgment. As the days passed, Duan Ling Tian's residence seemed to have regained its peace. The clan leader of Lu Clan, Lu Rui, still visited from time to time to deliver some spirit fruits suitable for void transformation martial artists. Most of these spirit fruits were given to Feng Tianwu. As for the spirit fruits that she had consumed before, they were all given to Xiongquan. Naturally, Xiongquan still could not use them since he had not broken through to the void transformation stage. Currently, he was still working on breaking through to the void interpretation stage. He had comprehended the 9th-level advanced sword concept, and it was impossible to elevate to sword profundity without the help of a profundity fragment. Therefore, he focused on improving his cultivation base with spirit fruits. Feng Tianwu and Xiongquan kept improving. Ever since the day Cheng He and Lung Qi left, Duan Ling Tian had locked himself in his room. He had only left his room once. At that time, he had asked his servant to pass the spirit fruits that Lu Rui sent to Feng Tianwu. He did not leave his room ever since then. Elder Duan haven't come out from his closed-door cultivation. Many of the Lu clan's elders visited Duan Ling Tian eagerly to ask about medicine refinement Dao. However, all of them left disappointed. In the beginning, most of the Lu clan's elders thought Duan Ling Tian wouldn't be closed-door cultivation for just a few days. However, they did not see Duan Ling Tian in the following 3 months. Eventually, they figured Duan Ling Tian was in a strict closed-door cultivation. From then onward, those Lu clan's alchemist elders never visited again. They stayed at home and waited for news. They had ordered the servants in Duan Ling Tian's residence to inform them immediately the moment Duan Ling Tian came out of his closed-door cultivation. Elder Duan haven't come out from his closed-door cultivation. The clan leader of Lu Clan, Lu Rui, who came to visit Duan Ling Tian again, smiled bitterly when he learned that Duan Ling Tian had not come out yet. He could only leave. I'm afraid we can't continue with the quest. We're almost out of the Grade 1 life recovery pills refined by Elder Duan. Lu Rui sighed as he stepped out of the house. He asked me to pass this to you. Lu Rui heard an indifferent voice. Following that, Lu Rui heard the sound of wind whistling from behind as though something was flying toward him. Lu Rui turned around in a hurry and raised his hand to catch the object flying toward him. He realized that it was an ownerless spatial ring. It's her. Through his peripheral vision, he saw a blurry, fiery red figure in the depth of the estate. He was no stranger to that figure. It was Feng Tianwu, Elder Duan's soulmate, who sacrificed herself for him. She also seemed to be a strong demon monarch powerhouse. This is, Elder Duan gave this to me. Soon after, Lu Rui's eyes shifted back to the spatial ring in his hands. At once, he realized that He Feng Tianwu mentioned was their Lu clan's first interim advisor, Duan Ling Tian. After Lu Rue pricked his finger and dripped his blood on the spatial ring to establish ownership, he looked inside. There were 10 pill bottles neatly arranged in a row. After opening up a pill bottle, he saw the pills inside were all glowing faintly. All this was familiar to him. These were grade 1 life recovery pills. As it turns out, Elder Duan was already prepared. Lu Rue shook his head and smiled before he turned to leave. Above the sky of the northern mountain land, 5 figures passed by as fast as lightning. It was 5 travel-weary individuals who came from afar. 3 of them led the group as an azure-clad middle-aged man, and a blue-clad old man followed closely from behind. The 2 old men in the lead were talking. "Cheng-He, you don't have to wait long before you become a grade 1 alchemist who can refine pills with more than 90% purity," a gold-clad old man said to the silver-clad old man. "I don't know how that boy managed to refine grade 1 pills with more than 90% purity, but I hope things will go as you said," Cheng-He said with a faint smile. There was a hint of greed in the depth of his eyes. "Guild Master Cheng, I'll help you this time. I hope you'll keep your promise." A middle-aged man walked shoulder to shoulder with the 2 old men. He looked ordinary, but he had really bright eyes. His hands were holding on to a sheathed long blade. He seemed to emit a piercing aura similar to a sharp blade when he stood there. Currently, he was also looking at Cheng-He, clan leader of O Clan. "You may rest assured that I won't break my promise," Cheng-He said solemnly. "All right then." The middle-aged man with a piercing aura nodded faintly and kept quiet. "Cheng-He, previously, you said the target this time is the Lu clan's grade 1 alchemist who looks no older than 30 years old." The gold-clad old man suddenly asked. "Yes." Cheng-He nodded seriously. "He's not only a grade 1 alchemist. Even his cultivation base is shocking. If I have to guess, I would say his strength is around the 2nd level martial monarch stage." Grade 1 alchemist. 2nd level martial monarch stage. A young man not older than 30 years old? Apart from the azure-clad middle-aged man who had already known about the matter, the 3 individuals' faces changed at once. Even the middle-aged man with a piercing aura was not an exception. He was shocked. It sounded too unbelievable. A human martial artist who became a grade 1 alchemist before the age of 30 would have been known as a monster prodigy, favored by the gods. Moreover, that person was also a 2nd level martial monarch stage martial artist? Cheng-He, are you trying to trick us? The gold-clad old man's face darkened slightly as he looked at Cheng-He solemnly. The middle-aged man with a piercing aura also looked at Cheng-He with a sharp gaze that felt like 2 blades hanging over Cheng-He. "Trick?" Cheng-He glanced at the gold-clad old man like he was looking at an idiot. He was rendered speechless for a moment before he said, "Why would I trick you? Do I look like I have so much free time on my hands? Why would I risk offending both of you at once?" Both the gold-clad old man and the middle-aged man with a piercing aura withdrew their gazes when they heard Cheng-He's words. "I know it sounds unbelievable, but it's the truth. You can see for yourselves when we arrive at the Lu clan's estate tomorrow," Cheng-He said to the gold-clad old man. A grade 1 alchemist under the age of 30. There's never been a demon alchemist in the history of Cloud Continent. That's why he can only be human. The fact that he's also at the 2nd level martial monarch stage is incredible. The gold-clad old man mumbled to himself with narrowed eyes after he heard Cheng-He's words. "No, he's not necessarily human," the middle-aged man with a piercing aura suddenly said as though he had recalled something. "He's not necessarily human?" After the middle-aged man had spoken, apart from the 2 old men beside him, even the azure-clad old man and the blue-clad old man looked at him. Their eyes were filled with curiosity, and they were left wondering about the middle-aged man's words. The middle-aged man was the Northern Mountains O Clan's clan leader, Olai. He was also the strongest person in the O Clan. The O Clan was as famous as the Lu clan in the Northern Mountainland. They were a famous family of weapons craftsmen. However, Olai was not a weapon craftsman. He became the clan leader of O Clan due to his unbeatable strength in the entire O Clan. As such, Olai had the highest status in the O Clan. The power he had in the O Clan was a lot more than the power Lu Rue had in the Lu Clan. That was because even though Lu Rue was the clan leader of Lu Clan, the former clan leader, Lu Qiu, was the true leader. Naturally, Lu Qiu usually remained hidden, and he never interfered with Lu Rue's management of the Lu Clan. Lu Qiu's status at the Lu Clan was not only because he was the former clan leader, but he was also the strongest person in the Lu Clan. On the other hand, the The former clan leader of O clan was just an ordinary grade 2 weapons craftsman. Therefore, the status of the O clan's former clan leader was far beneath the current clan leader, O Lai. O Lai, although you're not a weapons craftsman, you're from a family of weapons craftsmen. Don't you know non-humans can't be an alchemist or weapons craftsman? Chung He asked with a frown. Yes, if he isn't human but a demon, it's impossible for him to be an alchemist or a weapons craftsman, let alone a grade 1 alchemist, the gold-clad old man added. Both the blue-clad old man and the azure-clad middle-aged man standing behind the gold-clad old man and Chung, he nodded in agreement. No matter what, a demon could not become an alchemist or weapons craftsman. That was the law on Cloud Continent. For countless years, no one had heard any demons that had broken the law. I just said he's not necessarily human. When did I say he's a demon? Olai asked as he glanced coldly at the gold-clad old man. That, you mean? The gold-clad old man was stunned after hearing Olai's words. Under the curious eyes of the four men, Olai slowly opened his mouth and said the word, variant. Variant. When Olai said that, it was as though lightning had struck the four other men. All of them, including Chung He, was stunned. Variant. They were naturally no stranger to it. A variant was the product of a human and a demon. They were either trash or monsters. The latter had mysterious and unique innate abilities. Moreover, they also possessed shocking innate talent and martial Tao that exceeded ordinary humans or demons. Most importantly, variants could become grade 1 alchemists or grade 1 weapon craftsmen because they were half human, unlike pure demons who could not condense pill fire or weapon flame. Chung He was first to react, and he muttered, after listening to Olai, I really think it's possible. It's very likely he's a variant. After that, he turned to look at the azure-clad man who followed him since the beginning. Lung Chi, what do you think? Probably, Lung Chi said and nodded. A variant. The shock was apparent on the gold-clad old man and the blue-clad old man's faces. Eventually, the gold-clad old man nodded, barring unforeseen factors. Then he should be a variant. After all, his achievement isn't something ordinary humans can achieve at that age. Everyone else nodded in agreement. I don't care whether he's a variant or not. I'll get the method of refining pills with more than 90% purity from him. Chung He enunciated each word clearly as greed shone in his eyes. Lung Chi alone is a match for that old fellow, Lu Qiu. As long as Lung Chi distracts Lu Qiu, it'll be easy for the rest of us to defeat the monarch stage martial artists in Lu Clan. The gold-clad old man said. It won't be difficult to capture Duan Ling Tian. However, Chung He, you must be prepared. He probably won't tell you the method of refining pills with more than 90% purity even if you capture him. You don't have to worry about that. Chung He said confidently. How? You've got a plan. The gold-clad old man's eyes brightened. Tell us. There's a strong woman who seems to be a demon monarch powerhouse around Duan Ling Tian. Her strength is probably at the second-level demon monarch stage that's equivalent to a second-level martial monarch stage martial artist. Chung, he said slowly. You've already said that earlier. I'm asking you. How are you planning to make Duan Ling Tian tell you the method? The gold-clad old man asked again as he knitted his brows together. Since I mentioned the woman, naturally it's because it's related to her. Chung He said snappily to the gold-clad old man before he continued saying casually. If Duan Ling Tian isn't cooperative, I'll torture the woman in front of him. Until he cooperates. A sinister smile appeared on Chung He's face when he finished his sentence. You're really despicable. The gold-clad old man looked at Chung He. However, why are you so certain he will spill his secrets for that woman? That's not an ordinary secret, you know. You don't know this, but that boy is really affectionate. Chung He said with a smile. Previously, he almost died for that woman. Oh, the gold-clad old man's interest was piqued the moment he heard Chung He's words. What do you mean? Whether it was O Lai, the clan leader of O clan, or that blue-clad old man standing behind the golden-clad old man, both of them were looking at Chung He curiously. It was apparent they were interested in this matter as well. Previously, Lung Chi had almost killed that woman. At the very last minute, he suddenly attacked me. Due to that, Lung Chi was distracted. Chung He added. At that time, Lung Chi managed to injure him as well, even though he managed to rescue that woman. If I didn't ask Lung Chi to spare his life, he would have already died in Lung Chi's hands. Chung He finished his words in one breath. This variant is different than most types of rumored variants. It's said that most variants are cold-blooded. It's very rare for them to show their true emotions, let alone sacrificing their own lives to rescue other people. the gold-clad old man lamented. I don't care if he's different from other variants. This time, I'll pry the secret I want from his mouth. Confidence was written on Chung-hee's face as his eyes gleamed coldly. A day passed very quickly. During the second day, a building complex in the far distance appeared before Chung-hee and the other four. We've arrived at the Lu clan, the gold-clad old man announced. As the guild master of the Weapons Craftsman Guild's main guild in the southern outer land, this was not his first time going to the Lu clan. The difference was, in the past, he had always been treated as an honored guest in the Lu clan whenever he went there and had always been warmly welcomed. This was the first time he went there to kidnap a person from the Lu clan. Originally, he was unwilling to offend the Lu clan, but the thing Chung-hee promised him was just too tempting. Due to that, he decided to help Chung-hee even though this meant he might ruin his friendship with the Lu clan. That way, when they arrived above the Lu clan's estate, Chung-hee immediately looked toward the eastern side of the Lu clan's estate. His body moved with a flash as he flew out and arrived at the sky above that area in just a blink of an eye. Following behind Chung-hee was O-Lai and the gold-clad old man. Further behind them were Lung-chi and the blue-clad old man. The blue-clad old man was just like Lung-chi. If Lung-chi was described as Chung-hee's shadow, then this blue-clad old man would be the gold-clad old man's shadow. As the only well-known Grade 1 alchemist in the southern outer land, and the guild master of the Alchemist Guild's main guild in the southern outer land, the gold-clad old man highly regarded by the Inner Lands Alchemist Guild. For this reason, the Inner Lands Alchemist Guild sent the blue-clad old man to protect him. Soon after, Chung-hee and the other four arrived at the sky above a spacious residence. Duan Ling Tian, show your ass now. Chung-hee roared loudly without any warning. The origin energy in his voice swept out, spreading to the entire Lu clan's estate. For a moment, the entire Lu clan's estate erupted in an uproar. Somebody's here to look for Elder Duan, asking Elder Duan to show his ass the instant he arrives? Looks like these visitors didn't come with good intention. Many of the Lu clan's disciples discussed among themselves. They were no strangers to Duan Ling Tian's name. After all, he was the only Grade 1 alchemist in their Lu clan. Although those people obviously came with bad intentions to target Duan Ling Tian, none of them were really worried. In their opinion, their Lu clan was one of the strongest clans in the northern mountain land, so they would be able to protect Elder Duan well. However, contrary to the Lu clan's disciples' optimism, the clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui's face was extremely grave. Damn it, it's that Chung-hee again. Previously, Chung-hee had left in disappointment. After 3 months, he finally made his appearance again. He definitely came with bad intention. It looks like Chung-hee has found himself support. Lu Rui and the 3 great guardian elders of Lu clan gathered and rose up into the air. They could not see the faces of the 5 figures standing in the distance. However, they knew one of them had to be Chung-hee. They had a feeling Lung-chi, who always followed and guarded Chung-hee, was there as well. Let's go have a look. Let's see who Chung-hee brought with him that he had the confidence to come back again. Lu Yuan, who was as fat as a ball, took the lead to fly out first. His eyes gleamed coldly. Lu Rui, Lu Gui, and Lu Ji followed closely behind him. In just a few moments, the 4 of them had also arrived at the sky above the eastern side of the Lu clan's estate. There were already 2 people locked in a deadlock with Chung-hee and the other 4 at the sky above the eastern side of the Lu clan's estate. The atmosphere was extremely heavy as though it would explode at any given time. Lu Rui was not unfamiliar with these 2 people. They could see the 2 were none other than the woman always beside Duan Ling Tian, the first interim advisor of their Lu clan, and the middle-aged man who always followed Elder Duan everywhere. Looks like Duan Ling Tian has become a coward. How dare he asks a woman like you to come out instead? However, other than Duan Ling Tian, you're my target as well this time, Chung-hee said casually. His eyes gleamed when he looked at the red-clad woman standing nearby. You dare to insult him? Almost at the instant Chung-hee's words left his mouth, flames skyrocketed from the beautiful woman's body before it solidified into a sword-shaped flame. Her voice was icy, and she looked at Chung-hee as though he was a dead man. After she said that, and before Chung-hee had time to respond, she made her move. Whoosh! A 5-foot-long sword slashed out as her body followed suit. The tip of the sword-shaped flame was fixed on Chung-hee and approaching at an extremely fast speed. It was as though she had transformed into a bolt of fiery lightning. It was so fast that Chung-hee paled instantly. It has only been 3 months. How's it possible that her strength has gone up so much? There was only one thought in Chung-hee's mind. Meanwhile, The sword-shaped flame had already arrived near Chung-hee. The speed was so fast that Chung-hee could barely dodge the attack. Humph! A snort sounded in the air. Chung-hee's heart was thumping rapidly in his chest, and he was incredibly tensed. In the next moment, a flash of green figure materialized in front of Chung-hee. The moment Chung-hee saw the green figure, he breathed a sigh of relief. He instantly relaxed, and his heartbeat gradually returned to normal. He knew he was no longer in danger since that person in front had made his move. Bam! Just as this thought appeared Chung-hee's mind, the green figure charged toward Feng Tianwu and clashed with the fiery red sword that Feng Tianwu had transformed into with her sword as a loud explosion reverberated in the air. As the two waves of energy clashed together, the airstream in the air exploded and set off a series of vibrating airwaves. The airwaves spread out in all directions and continued to transform into a flurry of hurricanes. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The hurricanes were so huge that it seemed as though the eastern side of the Liu clan's estate was attacked by some sort of demonic wind. Some of the servants with low cultivation base were miserably blown away. As for the crowd in the air, only their robes fluttered loudly in the wind. None of them were injured at all. Their gazes were trained on the two people who were clashing. The two of them finally separated after the loud explosion. The energy swimming around the green figure had dissipated and revealed his true identity. It was a green-clad middle-aged man. Because of his fast attack, the heaven and earth energy that was whirring above his head did not even have time to gather into heaven and earth phenomenon before it dissipated. Unlike the green-clad middle-aged man who remained unmoved in his spot, the fiery red gigantic sword transformed from both human and sword was sent flying back before finally coming to a stop a few dozen meters away. Barf! The sword-shaped flame died down. The red-clad woman, holding a 5-foot-long flexible red sword, spat out a mouthful of blood. Her delicate face was extremely pale. The heaven and earth phenomenon gathered by the heaven and earth energy above the red-clad woman's head began to disperse. It was the silhouettes of 2,000 ancient horned dragons and a silhouette that was a dozen times bigger than the ancient horned dragons that were spiraling as it descended. It was also a dragon, but not an ancient horned dragon. Its body was tough and long, like an ancient horned dragon that was magnified a dozen times. Naturally, the details were totally different as well, whether it was the sharp claws or the scales on its body. This dragon exuded a majestic aura. The ancient horned dragons were not comparable to it. If the ancient horned dragons were considered as young dragons, this dragon would be like a mature dragon. Not only were the details on its body completely different from ancient horned dragons, but even the head was different from the ancient horned dragon. The ancient horned dragon's head looked slightly ferocious, a little different than the legendary divine dragon with pure bloodline. However, this dragon that was a dozen times bigger than an ancient horned dragon was not too different from the legendary divine dragon. Moreover, its pair of sharp eyes were constantly emitting a majestic aura. The silhouette of the ancient black dragon, Lu Rue, the clan leader of Liu clan, was shocked when he saw this. Lu Yuan was staring at the scene before his eyes in bewilderment. His small eyes were as big as saucers as he muttered to himself. Clan leader, didn't you say Miss Tian Wu can only cast over 8,000 ancient horned dragon strength at the most? How's this possible? Miss Tian Wu's attack could mobilize the heaven and earth energy to gather into silhouettes of one ancient black dragon and 2,000 ancient horned dragons. Lu Ji said solemnly, the strength of an ancient black dragon is formed from 10,000 ancient horned dragons. If it's calculated using ancient horned dragons, Miss Tian Wu's current strength is equivalent to the strength of 12,000 ancient horned dragons. Lu Gui gasped. This was a far cry from the strength of over 8,000 ancient horned dragons that their clan leader told them about. I didn't know too. Lu Rue was staring in shock at the red-clad woman who was heavily injured in the distance. His face was completely blank. He could not understand what he was seeing at all. Don't tell me Miss Tian Wu has been holding back her strength all this while. Although he did not really believe this, he really could not come up with another plausible explanation. Miss Tian Wu, Lu Rue, and the other three old men's expression immediately turned grave when they saw Feng Tian Wu injured. No matter what, she was Elder Duan's woman after all. How would they explain to Elder Duan now that she got injured in front of them? Meanwhile, Xiong Quan, who was originally standing next to Feng Tian Wu, also turned grave when he saw her getting injured. He glared at the green-clad middle-aged man as he snarled coldly. "You're looking for death." At this moment, due to his wrath, the origin energy on his body soared up and transformed into a milky white sword-shaped flame that seemed to envelop his entire being as it emitted a tyrannical aura. Whoosh! The heaven and earth energy whirred above the air and gathered to form the heaven and earth phenomenon. 1,120 silhouettes of ancient horned dragons. Ninth level advanced sword concept was equivalent to the strength of 1,000 ancient horned dragons. When the origin energy of a ninth level void interpretation stage martial artist was fully unleashed, it was equivalent to the strength of 120 ancient horned dragons. This was all the strength Xiong Quan could unleash now. "You're looking for death." Originally, when Cheng He and the others saw how Xiong Quan snarled coldly at the green-clad middle-aged man, their expression darkened slightly in an instant. The red-clad woman and this middle-aged man were unfamiliar to them. In their opinion, the fact that this middle-aged man dared to yell at the person who heavily injured the red-clad woman meant that he must be quite powerful as well. They did not think it was possible for him to be any weaker than the red-clad woman. However, the moment they saw the heaven and earth phenomenon that appeared above the middle-aged man, they could not help but stare at each other in puzzlement with an odd expression on their faces. The person they originally thought was a powerhouse turned out to be a person who could barely scratch the threshold to the peak of the void. What an ant! The green-clad middle-aged man who had just injured Feng Tianwu was none other than Leng Qi. His body disappeared completely in front of Xiong Quan as soon as he spat those words out. Bang! Chills were creeping up on Xiong Quan's skin. He realized he might be facing his doom when a loud bang reverberated not far in front of him. The rolling airwaves spread out and created a flurry of hurricanes once again. Xiong Quan felt as though he was caught in the hurricane. Before he even had time to react, he was already sent flying by the powerful airwave. He clenched his teeth and finally came to a halt 100 meters away. The first thing he saw was an aged and hoary silhouette materializing in front of him to block Leng Qi. Leng Qi was just a dozen meters away from the place he was at earlier. At this moment, chills shot up from the soles of Xiong Quan's feet to his brain. It caused him to shiver uncontrollably. Cold sweat had already broke out on his forehead. He knew he would have died if it was not for that old man blocking Leng Qi in time. "With my current strength, when will I be of help to young master?" Bitterness filled Xiong Quan's heart. In front of these people who came to look for trouble with his young master, he could not do anything at all. Former clan leader. When Leng Qi tried to attack Xiong Quan earlier, horror dawned on the clan leader of Lu Clan, Lu Rue, and the 3 guardian elders of Lu Clan. They immediately flew out to save him. However, their speed was no match for Leng Qi. Moreover, Leng Qi was positioned closer to Xiong Quan. They could only watch helplessly. "He's Elder Duan's people. If he dies, how should we explain it to Elder Duan?" They all had this thought in their minds just as the situation abruptly changed. The strongest person in the Lu clan, Lu Qiu, who was also the Lu clan's former clan leader, made his entrance and shielded Xiong Quan from Leng Qi. After Lu Qiu blocked Leng Qi could not do anything to him all. He swiftly flew back and retreated behind Cheng He. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Meanwhile, the Lu clan's clan leader and the Lu clan's 3 great guardian elders also came to stand beside Lu Qiu, former clan leader. The 4 of them bowed at Lu Qiu respectfully. Lu Qiu nodded at the 4 of them before looking at Cheng He and the others. His gaze swept past Cheng He and the others one by one. "Clan leader O, guild master Mo. I wonder what's the purpose of all of you coming even though it's so far." Lu Qiu's gaze finally landed on the middle-aged man and the gold-clad old man by Cheng He's side. His tone was calm when he spoke. The moment they heard Lu Qiu's words, horror dawned on Lu Rue and the Lu clan's 3 great guardian elders. "Clan leader O, guild master Mo." In the northern mountain land and the entire southern outer land, there were only 2 people their former clan leader would greet in such a way. Olai, the clan leader of the northern mountains O clan, and Mo Jia, the guild master of the weapons craftsman guild's main guild in the southern outer land. Their eyes followed Lu Qiu's gaze before it landed on 2 extremely familiar figures. Olai, Mo Jia. Horror once again dawned on Lu Rue and the other 3 when they saw the middle-aged man with a piercing aura and the old man dressed in a forbidden robe. "Lu Qiu, I'll be blunt with you. If you hand over Duan Ling Tian to Cheng He now, I'll still be a friend to the Lu clan," Mo Jia announced in a speed that was neither too slow nor too fast. His eyes gleamed when he looked at Lucio. Friend? The moment this word left Mojia's mouth, the 5 people from Lu clan were momentarily stunned. After a few seconds, Lucio was the first person to regain his senses. He looked at Mojia and snorted. The Lu clan is a little unworthy to be friends with someone like you who has a high social position. Lu Rue and the other 3 also regained their senses. Each of them also had an enraged expression on their faces. This Mojia had already stepped on the Lu clan's head, and he still had the audacity to say that he would remain a friend to the Lu clan? In that case, from today onward, the Lu clan and I no longer have any relationship. Mojia's voice turned cold the instant he heard Lucio's words. The robe of the blue-clad old man behind him fluttered even though there was no wind. His pair of cold, gleaming eyes were glaring at Lucio as though he was about to attack Lucio at any given time. Clan leader the reason you're here is also to help Chung he take Elder Duan away from the Lu clan? Lucas asked as he looked at Olai with gleaming eyes. Olai nodded faintly after he glanced at Lucio. Lu Rue's face darkened. He instant rebuked Olai. How dare you? How dare you? Upon hearing Lu Rue's words, not only was Olai bewildered, even Chung He, Mojia, and the 2 people behind them felt bewildered. Clan leader Lu, former clan leader Lu. Soon after, Olai returned to his senses. He looked at Lu Rue and Lucio nonchalantly. Your Lu clan and our O clan are 2 great clans with 10,000 years of history in the northern mountain land. In this 10,000 years, we're on friendly terms, even though some enmity still exists. The reason I came to the Lu clan today is to help Elder Chung he take away that person. Both the O clan and I have no intention of offending you at all, Olai explained calmly. No intention to offend my ass. Lu Rue snorted. Olai, the moment you decided to help Chung he take away Elder Duan, you've already made a decision to stand against our Lu clan. From now onward, the O clan and the Lu clan will be sworn enemies. The O clan and the Lu clan would be sworn enemies. Lu Rue's voice spread out and echoed in the air. Many people in the Lu clan's estate heard Lu Rue's words. That's clan leader Lu's voice. Clan leader Lu just said from today onward, the Lu clan and the O clan are sworn enemies. Don't tell me those arrogant people who asked Elder Duan to show his ass are from the O clan. Maybe. The people in the Lu clan's estate immediately buried their heads together in a discussion. Many of the Lu clan's elders and disciples rose up in the air, but they only dared to watch from afar. They did not dare to go close at all. Who knew if a fight would break out? If a fight broke out, it would be a battle among martial monarchs. The airwaves from the clashing energies would be enough to send them flying and even injure them. Lu Rue, I don't think the decision of making the O clan a sworn enemy of the Lu clan can be decided by you, right? Olai asked casually the moment he heard Lu Rue's words. At the same time, his glance shifted to Lucio, who was standing far away. As far as I know, you're not qualified enough to make such a decision for the Lu clan in front of the former clan leader. When Olai spoke, his face remained indifferent. It was neither happy nor enraged. However, mockery could be heard in his words. He was mocking Lu Rue, this clan leader, implying he was unworthy of his title. Huh, clan leader Lu, do you really think everyone can control the entire clan like you? Chung He burst out laughing before he glanced at Lu Rue mockingly. Although some people are clan leaders as well, they don't have any authority at all. Someone like that is just a puppet in my opinion. Guildmaster Chung, you always speak so bluntly. No matter what, some people are still the leader of a clan, a person with a high and mighty position. Don't you think it's not right to mock him in front of so many people? Mojia joined in the laughter as well. The ridiculing smile on his face was at odds with his words. He seemed to be rubbing salt deeper into the wound. Lu Rue's face turned green before it paled. His eyes gleamed coldly. Who says Lu Rue's not qualified to make decisions for the Lu clan? Lucio made his stance clear as he snorted. From the moment I passed down the title clan leader to Lu Rue, he's already the clan leader. He's the person with the highest position in our Lu clan. His words represent the entire Lu clan's will. Lucio announced with certainty, reinforcing Lu Rue's status as the clan leader of Lu clan. Colors immediately returned to Lu Rue's face. A hint of gratitude to Lucio could be seen in his eyes for coming to his rescue. Moreover, since then, other than protecting the Lu clan and the Lu clan's interest, I, Lucio, have not interfered with the matters in the Lu clan. Lucio made his stance clear so that others could no longer make fun of Lu Rue. Even if you ask us to meddle in the Lu clan's internal affair, we wouldn't wanna, alright? The reason we came here is not to become an enemy of the Lu clan. We just want to bring Duan Ling Tian away. Chung He took a stride forward and stared into Lu Rue's eyes. Since clan leader Lu has the full authority to speak on behalf of the Lu clan, please give us an answer. The instant Chung He's words left his mouth, Olai and Mo strode forward as well. They stood together, pressuring Lu Rue. Chung He was the guild leader of the Alchemists Guild's main guild in the southern outer land, and a grade 1 alchemist. Naturally, he would not be such a huge threat to the Lu clan if he was only a grade 1 alchemist. However, the person who posed the greatest threat was none other than Lung Qi, the green-clad middle-aged man who followed him around. Lung Qi's strength was not inferior to the strongest person in the Lu clan, Lucio. 3 months ago, Chung He had brought Lung Qi to the Lu clan. At that time, their target was Duan Ling Tian. However, they failed to get what they wanted and could only leave miserably due to Lucio's interference and the Lu clan's 3 great guardian elders. After 3 months, they came back with 2 helpers in tow. One of the helpers was the guild leader of the Weapons Craftsman Guild's main guild in the southern outer land, Mo. Mo was a grade 1 weapons craftsman. Since he had focused on the weapons refinement Dao, his growth was limited in the martial Dao. Similar to Chung He, he was an ordinary first-level monarch stage martial artist. Chung He had asked for his help not because of his strength, but because of the person who always followed him around to guard him. It was none other than the blue-clad old man always following Mo. In terms of strength, the blue-clad old man was in no way inferior to Lung Qi and Lucio. His strength was quite terrifying as well. The other helper was Olai, the current clan leader of the Northern Mountain Lands O clan. Olai was a martial Dao genius who only appeared every 1,000 years in the O clan. When he was in his 40s, his cultivation base successfully broke through to the martial monarch stage, and thus, he became a martial monarch powerhouse. His current strength was on par with Lung Qi and Lucio as well. The 3 powerhouses with strength that was on par with Lucio was Chung He's biggest support. He believed the Lu clan would not dare to directly confront them if they were smart. Apart from that, it would also be easy for him to forcefully bring Duan Ling Tian away. Clan leader Lu, you must make your decision wisely. Don't let the Lu clan suffer from unnecessary damage just because of a momentary burst of courage. Chung He said victoriously as he stared at Lu Rue. Humph. Lu Rue snorted before he mocked. What now? Don't tell me you plan to annihilate our Lu clan, Guild Master Chung. I know I don't have the ability to wipe out the Lu clan. However, if the Lu clan lost a few of its martial monarchs, I believe the few forces in the inner land won't avenge the Lu clan. Chung He replied nonchalantly. As he reached the end of his sentence, a malicious smile crept up on the corner of his mouth. Lu Rue's face darkened instantly. He was so angry that he felt as though his blood was boiling. However, he knew what Chung He said was the truth. Whether it was Chung He, Mo. or Olai, none of them possessed the courage to annihilate the Lu clan. This was because the Lu clan was protected by a few first-rate forces in the inner land. Naturally, those first-rate forces would only make their move if the entire Lu clan was annihilated. They would remain unmoved even if all the martial monarchs in Lu clan died. Lu Rue took a deep breath and looked at Lung Qi with dread in his eyes before he shifted his gaze to Olai and the blue-clad old man behind Mo. These 3 martial monarchs had strength that was in no way inferior to Lucio, the strongest person in their Lu clan. If the Lu clan battled it out with them, they would definitely suffer a great loss. The 3 guardian elders might not even survive. Lu Rue was caught in a dilemma. On one hand, he had the few main backbones that held the Lu clan up. It was currently faced with the risk of falling apart. On the other hand, he had the future pillar of the Lu clan, who was also the person Chung he wanted to take away. If he wanted to save these few backbones, he would have to give up the future pillar of Lu clan. The Lu clan would lose a rare opportunity. This opportunity was enough to let the Lu clan soar to the top and stand at the peak on Cloud Continent. After all, the background of that pillar was incredibly terrifying. He was a person who had stood at the peak on Cloud Continent in his previous life. Currently, he was in the form of his final reincarnation, so he would definitely achieve much more than he did in his past lives. Naturally, this was only true provided he did not meet with any mishaps along the way. If he died now, it would be pointless to discuss the future. If we hand Elder Duan over, our Lu clan won't suffer any loss. However, Elder Duan would be taken away by them. If we don't hand Elder Duan over, our Lu clan will suffer a great loss. In the end, Elder Duan will still be taken away by them. Both scenarios have the same outcome, but at the core of it, it's different. In the former scenario, it's us who give up on Elder Duan. Even he doesn't hate us. Our relationship will definitely sour. As for the latter scenario, we'll give our all to protect Elder Duan. Even if we can't protect him and he's taken away, he'll still feel grateful. Lu Rui was deep in thoughts at this moment. He was feeling deeply conflicted. In the end, he could not help but turn to look at Lu Qiu, wanting to get his opinion. Clan leader, from now onward, every matter regarding the Lu clan is up to you to decide. No matter what your decision is, I'll always support you, Lu Qiu said before Lu Rui even had the chance to open his mouth. Clan leader, all of us will support your decision. Lu Yuan, Lu Gui, and Lu Ji nodded their heads as well. They had the same mindset as Lu Qiu. For a moment, Lu Rui could feel the weight of a mountain on his shoulders, and he could hardly breathe. If I choose the former and give up on Elder Duan, if Elder Duan manages to escape this calamity and rise to the peak again, he won't bother with us anymore, even if he doesn't settle the score with us. One choice was enough to cut off the friendship between the Lu clan and Elder Duan. If I choose the latter, the three guardian elders will most likely meet their ends. Even the former clan leader will be in danger too. Elder Duan will still be taken away. However, if Elder Duan manages to survive, our Lu clan's future will definitely be bright. Another choice would cause the Lu clan to suffer great damage, and nobody was able to predict the future regarding Elder Duan. However, if Elder Duan somehow survived, the Lu clan would definitely be able to ride on his success. Lu Rui was in a dilemma. He could not make up his mind at all. Clan leader Lu, I hope that you'll be able to give us an answer after the span of 10 breaths. After the span of 10 breaths, we'll start playing rough if you still don't give us an answer. Chung He smirked as he looked at Lu Rui. At that time, please don't blame the three of us for not taking our friendship into consideration. There's no need to wait for 10 breaths. At this moment, Lu Rui clenched his teeth and made his decision. It's impossible for the Lu clan to hand Elder Duan over to you. From the moment Elder Duan became the first interim advisor of Lu clan, he's already a part of our Lu clan. Our Lu clan has a 10,000 years legacy. It's impossible for us to betray friends for the sake of our own personal gain. Today, we'll give our all to protect Elder Duan, even if it means we'll have to face death. Lu Rui's words were incredibly loud and crisp as it spread in the air. The moment the Lu clan's three great guardian elders heard this, their eyes lit up as they faced Chung He and the other four in a poised and brave manner. Although they knew the strength of the three people on the other side was far stronger than theirs and could kill them in mere seconds, they did not feel even the slightest bit of fear. This was all for the sake of Lu clan. For the sake of Lu clan, they had no regrets even if they died in the battle. They were the embodiment of the word guardian in their title guardian elders. They did not bring shame to their title at all. Fight! Lu Rui's words also entered Lu Qiu's ears. He was initially nervous, but he had a smile on his face now. The nervousness in the depth of his eyes disappeared without a trace. Whoosh! At the same time, Lu Qiu appeared in front of the three great guardian elders of the Lu clan and coldly glared at Chung He and the others. Whoosh! 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 Soon after, many figures flew in from all directions. They were the Lu clan's elders who were watching from afar. Their sense of hearing was greater than ordinary Lu clan's disciples. They had heard the exchange between Lu Rui and Chung He. They were all affected by Lu Rui's words as well, and their blood was boiling with righteous indignation. Let us fight to the death. Protect Elder Duan with our lives. You'll have to cross over my dead body if you want to kill Elder Duan. A group of Lu clan's elders surrounded Chung He and the other four. They were yelling at the top of their lungs in an imposing and majestic manner. What? That 5 men came for Elder Duan. Soon after, the Lu clan's disciples who were watching afar was also in an uproar. Originally, my second uncle forbade me from saying this. However, I think I should say it no matter what. One of the Lu clan's disciples said through clenched teeth. Earlier, my second uncle told me those people want to bring Elder Duan away, but the clan leader rejected them. Now, the clan leader has declared a war with them. However, their strength is strong. The outcome seems grim for the clan leader, former clan leader, and the 3 guardian elders. The Lu clan's disciples said all this in one breath. Why didn't you say so earlier? They want to take Elder Duan away. F***CKU man. Now that there's a grade 1 alchemist in our Lu clan, don't even dream of taking Elder Duan away from us. It seems like this entire matter is instigated by Guild Master Chung, he of the Alchemist Guild's main guild. I think he feels Elder Duan, the second grade 1 alchemist to appear in the southern outer land after him, is a threat to his status, so he wants to eliminate Duan Ling Tian. Those who are men and have balls, follow me now. Let F***CK that son of a bitch, Chung, he till he dies. Let's go. Soon after, each and every one of the Lu clan's disciple flew out in a mighty formation, with 3 layers inside and another 3 layers outside. They surrounded Chung He and the other 4 tightly in a dense and dark mass. They appeared like a dark cloud that hung over the city. Good. Lu Rue became emotional when he saw this scene. This was his first time seeing their Lu clans so united. Lu Qiu and the 3 Lu clan's guardian elders smiled as well. Even if they died today, it would not be in vain. This was the Lu clan that they spent their entire lives protecting. Although they might die, they would go to their graves with no regrets at all, as expected from an ancient clan with a 10,000 years legacy. Such unity is not easily found in ordinary forces. The disciples of ordinary forces would have fled if they saw such a calamity approaching them. Xiong Quan was struck dumb when he saw the scene unfolding before his eyes. When Feng Tianwu saw this scene, even the frost on her beautiful and delicate face slightly thawed. She was moved by this group of Lu clan's disciples. At the same time, Chung He and the other 4's faces turned pale immediately when they saw the Lu clan's elders and disciples had them surrounded 3 layers inside and another 3 layers outside. It would only be a small matter if they killed a few people from the Lu clan. It was not enough to provoke the first-rate forces from the inner land that protected the Lu clan. However, if they killed all these people, they would have to face their own dooms as well. In their eyes, the Lu clan's people were like ants. It was not difficult to kill them at all. However, these people represented the entire Lu clan. Killing all of them was equivalent to annihilating the Lu clan. At that time, the inner land's first-rate forces that had once sworn they would protect the Lu clan would descend upon them with vengeance. Even if the first-rate forces could not annihilate the forces they belonged to, they themselves would not be able to escape death. After all, they were the instigators of this event. Don't touch the Lu clan's people. Don't touch Lu Rue as well. Kill that 4 old men, and nobody in the Lu clan will be able to stop us anymore. At that time, it'll be easy for us to take Duan Ling Tian away. Chung He told the other 4. Initially, his face had a grave expression. However, by the time he reached the end of his sentence, his eyes were gleaming coldly as though he was about to devour someone. Upon hearing Chung He's words, all 4 of them nodded their heads in agreement. The price they would have to pay if they had to annihilate the Lu clan was too high. It was acceptable for them to kill a few martial monarchs in the Lu clan as long as they did not touch the foundation of the Lu clan. Lung Qi, you deal with Lu Qiu. Chung, he ordered Lung Qi. All right. Lung Qi nodded nonchalantly. His cold eyes were staring fixedly at Lu Qiu. Olai, you'll handle the other 3 old men from the Lu clan. Is that okay? Chung He looked at Olai. He wanted him to deal with the Lu clan's 3 guardian elders. They'll definitely die in the span of 3 breaths. Olai's reply was curt. However, it was filled with confidence and certainty. As for Mojia and I, we'll be responsible for blocking Lu Rue and the rest of the Lu clan. Elder Chun, Duan Ling Tian's woman's strength is quite powerful. Subdue her, but don't kill her. She's still of use to us. Chung He looked at the blue-clad old man who followed Mojia like a shadow. The blue-clad old man nodded. Olai, after you kill the 3 old men from the Lu clan, you'll join forces with Lung Qi to kill Lu Qiu. After Lu Qiu dies, you'll search for Duan Ling Tian and subdue him. Chung He looked at Olai again. Olai nodded his head to show he understood. The atmosphere was incredibly tensed and heavy. Chung He and the other 4 were about to make their move. Suddenly, Tianwu, you're hurt. A voice filled with urgency and anger suddenly resonated in the air and broke the silence. At once, everybody's attention was caught by a figure that materialized in the air abruptly. It was a purple-clad young man. The young man was handsome, and his features were sharp. His eyes, with dashing brows that were slightly slanted, were gleaming with iciness and killing intent. He made his move when the crowd's attention was on him. Dragon soaring the 9 heavens. It was as though his entire body had transformed into a purple divine dragon. He charged out like lightning and arrived beside the red-clad woman with a slightly pale face who was standing in the distance. Tian Wu, swallow this. The purple-clad young man put a brightly gleaming pill into her mouth. The red-clad woman trusted him completely. She swallowed the pill without any hesitation. That pill? How's this possible? Cheng He, who was standing in the distance, suddenly trembled violently. His gaze was originally fixed on the pill the purple-clad young man took out. He only regained his senses when the pill was swallowed by the red-clad woman. However, shock was still written all over his face. Cheng He's shock stunned the other four as well. They all looked at him in confusion. The grade 1 life recovery pill he just took out has more than 95% purity. Cheng He explained when he saw the confusion on the other four's faces. The red-clad woman in the distance who had just swallowed the pill immediately regained colors on her cheeks, and her body was brimming with vigor and vitality, proving Cheng He's words right. She had completely recovered. Where were the signs of her being injured? Many people who heard Cheng He's words were dumbfounded when they looked at the scene before their eyes. This grade 1 life recovery pill has more than 95% purity. Lu Rui was the first to regain his senses. He gulped. Earlier, Miss Tian Wu has already consumed a grade 1 life recovery pill with 91% purity. Although her injuries have healed a little, it's not completely healed. Lu Yuan was staring at the scene unfolding before his eyes in bafflement. He went completely still from the shock. A grade 1 life recovery pill with more than 95% purity actually has such strong medicinal efficacy. The closer the pill's purity is to 100%, the more terrifying the pill's medicinal efficacy would be. Lu Ji said solemnly. It didn't cross my mind that Elder Duan is able to refine grade 1 life recovery pills with more than 95% purity. It's so close to achieving 100% purity. The strength of the medicinal efficacy must be at least double the strength of grade 1 life recovery pills with 91% purity. The group of Lu clan's elders was still in shock over Cheng He's words when Cheng He's gaze was burning a hole through the purple-clad young man standing in the distance. He asked loudly, Duan Ling Tian, looks like I've underestimated you. I can't believe you can actually refine grade 1 pills with more than 95% purity. The grade 1 life recovery pill you just gave her had 97% purity, right? This time, his voice was even louder, and all the Lu clan's people on the scene heard it clearly. What? A grade 1 life recovery pill with 97% purity? Are there even pills with such high purity on Cloud Continent? It's impossible, isn't it? Each and every one of the Lu clan's disciples began to discuss. Their skeptical gazes quickly landed on the purple-clad young man in the distance. Suddenly, one of the Lu clan's disciples who was staring at the purple-clad young man cried out, That's Elder Duan. What? He's that Elder Duan. All the Lu clan's disciples were in an uproar. He's the first interim elder of our Lu clan? That grade 1 alchemist who can refine grade 1 pills with more than 90% purity. He's young, just like the rumors said. Looks like the old man wasn't lying. Elder Duan can refine grade 1 life recovery pills with 97% purity. I think so too. After all, Elder Duan defies all common logic. Soon after, all the Lu clan's disciples were staring at the purple-clad young man in the distance, Duan Ling Tian. To the younger generation in the Lu clan, Duan Ling Tian was their ultimate idol, and he was greatly respected and admired. Second brother, no wonder I found him and the red-clad sister familiar. As it turns out, it really is them. A girl with a childlike face muttered when she was hit by a pang of realization. Another young man stood next to her. I didn't think you'll still be able to recognize him. The young man smiled faintly. The young man was none other than Lu Bai, the second young master of the Lu clan. As for the girl beside him, there was no doubt about her identity. She was none other than Lu Ping. She was the girl Feng Wu Dao previously saved along with her brother. Her brother was Lu Bai. Duan Ling Tian, you really gave me a huge gift. Lu Bai's eyes were filled with gratitude when he looked at the purple-clad young man in the distance. Lu Bai had found out about Lu Song's death not too long ago. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, he was sure to inherit the position of clan leader in the Lu clan. All of this was made possible because of the purple-clad young man. If it was not for the purple-clad young man, it would still be uncertain if he would get that position. Duan Ling Tian was slightly shocked that Cheng He was able to see through the purity of the grade 1 life recovery pill with just one glance. Similar to a senior lecturing a junior, he coldly looked at Cheng He as he remarked, What a good eyesight. However, what a pity. You have no desire to keep forging ahead. Instead, you're focused on dishonest practices. You're destined not to make any more progress in this lifetime. You're just a lucky young boy who obtained some secret technique from God knows where. And you actually dare to criticize me? When I became an alchemist, let alone you, even your mother might still be in her mother's womb. Who do you think you are to rebuke me? Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, Chung He's were ablaze as though it could really shoot out fire. That's right. When you first became an alchemist, my mother might still be in her mother's womb. Duan Ling Tian smirked. He paused for a moment before continuing. If I was you, I would have killed myself a long time ago. You're already so old, but it seems like you spent most of your time living like a dog. How's it possible that you're not even as good as a young boy like me? Duan Ling Tian's words were full of mockery, implying that Chung He was inferior to a young boy. The moment Duan Ling Tian's words left his mouth, many Liu clan's disciples burst into a laughing fit. Disdain could be seen in their eyes when they looked at Chung He. So much for being the guild leader of the Alchemist Guild's main guild in the southern outer land. Exactly. Our Liu clan's elder Duan is barely 1/3 of his age, and yet, his achievement in the medicine refinement Dao has long surpassed his. He's basically a trash in front of Elder Duan. Trash. What a perfect word to describe him. The Liu clan's disciples whispered among each other. Their words were blunt as they mocked Chung He to their heart's content. Although their voices were not particularly loud, it was still clearly heard by Chung He. It caused his face to turn green before it paled. The rage in his eyes continued to intensify. Duan Ling Tian, don't be so full of yourself. You're just lucky you managed to obtain the secret technique. Otherwise, will you really be able to refine pills with more than 90% purity? Chung He hissed with disdain after he took a deep breath to calm himself down. Until now, he still believed Duan Ling Tian was lucky and came across some secret technique that allowed him to refine pills with more than 90% purity. If he obtained the secret technique, he would be able to refine pills with 90% purity as well. Secret technique? The moment the crowd heard of Chung He mentioning the words secret technique, they immediately shifted their gazes toward Duan Ling Tian in unison. Could it be that Elder Duan actually knows some secret technique? Many of the Liu clan's people pondered inwardly. After all, it was shocking enough that Elder Duan became a grade 1 alchemist at such a young age. On top of that, he could also refine pills with 97% purity. A pill with such purity was heaven-defying. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Duan Ling Tian ignored Chung He. His gaze landed on the red-clad woman beside him, and he asked in an extremely gentle voice, Tian Wu, who injured you? A hint of wrath could be heard in his otherwise gentle voice. Feng Tian Wu's heart skipped a beat when she heard the anger in his voice. The frost on her face dissipated a little. Her gaze instantly shifted to that green-clad middle-aged man standing in the distance. The green-clad middle-aged man stood behind Chung He like a shadow. It's you again. Following the direction of Feng Tian Wu's gaze, Duan Ling Tian looked at the green-clad middle-aged man with cold eyes. Lung Qi. Previously, Lung Qi had also injured Tian Wu in him. Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, Lung Qi lazily lifted his head and glanced at Duan Ling Tian nonchalantly. A hint of scorn could be seen in his eyes. It was as though they were saying, "So what if it's me again? You can't avenge your woman anyway." Boom. At this moment, milky white flames skyrocketed from Duan Ling Tian's body as he emitted waves of terrifying aura. The heaven and earth energy whirred above his head and finally gathered into the heaven and earth phenomenon. There was a total of 2,000 ancient horned dragon silhouettes. Just his origin energy alone was equivalent to the strength of 2,000 ancient horned dragons. That was the trademark of a first-level martial monarch. Elder Duan is a martial monarch. For a moment, many of the Liu clan's elders and disciples present on the scene were shocked. Duan Ling Tian has made a breakthrough to the martial monarch stage. Liu Bai was shocked as well. Although he had once witnessed Duan Ling Tian killing a Liu clan's elder who was at the 8th level void transformation stage with his own eyes, he did not expect Duan Ling Tian to be a martial monarch. He thought Duan Ling Tian was a powerhouse at the peak of the void at the most. The scene unfolding before his eyes made him realize that Duan Ling Tian was either already a martial monarch at that time, or he had just recently made a breakthrough to the martial monarch stage. Compared to the rest of the Liu clan's elders and disciples, Liu Rue, the clan leader of the Liu clan, was not surprised at all. Last time, He had personally witnessed how Elder Duan had almost killed Chung He, who was at the first-level martial monarch stage. At that time, he had already guessed that Elder Duan was a martial monarch. As for Lu Qiu, the former clan leader of Lu Clan, and the Lu Clan's 3 great guardian elders, they were still slightly stunned even though they had already heard about this matter from Lu Rue. After all, Duan Lingtian was just too young. Naturally, it was still acceptable that he was young. Being young was not the main point. Elder Duan was a grade 1 alchemist who could refine grade 1 pills with 97% purity. With his current age, his achievement in the medicine refinement Dao was enough to make 90% of the alchemists on Cloud Continent to lower their heads in shame. However, such a young man who was so talented in the medicine refinement Dao was also a martial monarch. Monster. Is Elder Duan even human? After a moment of silence, the group of Lu Clan's elders and disciples was in an uproar. All of them stared in shock at the purple figure in the distance. I didn't expect I'll be able to encounter a variant in this lifetime. Mojia, the guild leader of the Weapons Craftsman Guild's main guild in the southern outer land, took a step forward and scrutinized Duan Lingtian. It's said that each variant has their own special innate ability. I wonder, what innate ability do you possess? Variant. Innate ability. Although Mojia's voice was not loud, everyone present heard his words. His words were like a stone that caused 1,000 ripples. Variant. Innate ability. Many Lu Clan's disciples were confused. Does this mean that Elder Duan is a variant? Some of the Lu Clan's elders could not help but narrow their eyes. They knew a little about variants. What's a variant? Most of the people who asked this question were the Lu Clan's disciples. A variant is born from the copulation of a human and a demon. A variant is either very ordinary or monstrous. There are many of the formers on Cloud Continent, but the latter is extremely rare. One of the Lu Clan's elders explained solemnly. That's right. Another Lu Clan's elder chimed in before he continued to say. It said that the latter has innate talent and comprehension that far surpass human being. Even humans who have the best innate talent and comprehension on Cloud Continent are not comparable to them. Moreover, the monstrous variants also have a special innate ability. The variant's innate ability is one of a kind in this world. Another person added. Some of the Lu Clan's elders and many of the disciples broke into a clamor when they found out what variants were. Their faces were filled with confusion. Then, does it mean that Elder Duan is a variant? Well, this is the only plausible explanation. Since Elder Duan is a grade 1 alchemist, it means he's not a demon. However, it's almost impossible for a human to achieve so much in both martial Dao and medicine refinement Dao at his age. You have a point. As the group of Lu Clan's elders and disciples buried their heads in discussion, they very quickly came to a conclusion. Duan Lingtian, this first interim advisor of their Lu Clan, was a variant. Moreover, he was the type of variant that was extremely monstrous. At this moment, they finally understood why Elder Duan could achieve so much at such a young age. The only people who did not think Duan Lingtian was a variant were Lu Rue and Lu Qiu, the clan leader and the former clan leader of the Lu clan. This was because both of them knew about Duan Lingtian's background. Duan Lingtian was someone who had obtained earth-shattering achievement in medicine refinement Dao, weapons refinement Dao, and inscription Dao in his past lives. In this reincarnation, he only needed to raise his cultivation base and spiritual energy to a certain level, and he would become an outstanding alchemist, weapons craftsman, and an inscription master. In their opinion, calling him a variant was quite ridiculous. Milky white flames soared up from Duan Lingtian's body as his icy gaze landed on Chung He and Lung Qi. He enunciated his words slowly. I told you previously that you're playing with fire. Since all of you are here today, you might as well just stay here forever. His voice was bone-piercingly cold. Ha ha ha. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Chung He burst out laughing. After a moment, his laughter finally died off. He sneered as he looked at Duan Lingtian with disdain. You're going to make us stay here? Just with your cultivation base at the first-level martial monarch stage? Previously, you were injured by Lung Qi with just one blow. It seems like you want to experience that again. I really wonder where you get your courage from. Meanwhile, Mojia also laughed as he chimed in. It's good to have confidence, young man. However, it's not good to let it turn into arrogance. There was a hint of rebuke in Mojia's words. Although Elder Duan is a martial monarch, he's only at the first-level martial monarch stage. It won't be easy for him to deal with these people. The fact that Elder Duan possesses such strength at such a young age is already terrifying enough. However, his strength is not even comparable to the 3 guardian elders of our Lu clan, let alone these people. If Elder Duan is given another 10 years, these people definitely won't be a match for him. Of course, Elder Duan is the rumored variant after all, a person who can be considered as heaven-defying on Cloud Continent. Many of the Lu clan's elders and disciples buried their heads together in discussion. They did not think Duan Ling Tian would be able to defeat Chung He and the others. Elder Duan. When the milky white flames transformed from the origin energy on Duan Ling Tian's body skyrocketed even more. Lu Rui looked at Duan Ling Tian and shouted, "Take Miss Tian Wu with you and leave. The Lu clan will block them for you." Lu Rui's words were full of determination. His manner was imposing, as though he knew this would be their last battle. When the last of his words left his mouth, he flew out and charged at Chung He and the other 4. "I have no regrets if the rest of my life is sacrificed for Duan Ling Tian's sake. Elder Duan, you must survive." Lu Qiu, the former clan leader of Lu clan, smiled brightly. When his voice echoed in the air, he was already by Lu Rui's side. He was glaring viciously at Chung He and the other 4. If Chung He and the other 4 dared to make a move, they would instantly unleash their thunder-like attack. "Elder Duan, you must live well. If we die, please avenge us." The Lu clan's 3 great guardian elders shouted in unison before they flew out as well, surrounding Chung He and the other 4 together with Lu Rui and Lu Qiu. "Elder Duan, please survive and live well." At this moment, a group of Lu clan's elders and disciples had also flown out and surrounded Chung He and the other 4 in a tighter formation with 3 layers inside and another 3 layers outside. Each of them had a determined look on their faces. They truly embodied the word unity at this moment, and they fully displayed the character of the Lu clan. Boom, 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 boom. Without warning, origin energies soared up from the group of Lu clan senior officials with Lu Rui in the lead. Their profundities followed close behind like shadows. Soon after, the Lu clan's people unleashed their soaring origin energies and concepts as they glared viciously at Chung He and the other 4, ready to make a move at any time. Lu clan. The crowd before Duan Ling Tian's eyes blocked Chung He and the other 4 from his sight. His heart thumped. At this moment, he was also affected by the valiant and moving atmosphere the Lu clan had created. Lu clan. I, Duan Ling Tian, will always remember this kindness of yours. However, today, let me solve my own matter on my own. At the same time, Chung He, who was surrounded by the Lu clan, suddenly yelled at the other 4, "Follow the original plan." Boom, boom, boom. After Chung He shouted, origin energies soared up from the 5 of them. Profundities and concepts followed like shadows, ready to explode. Lung Qi's gaze immediately locked on Lu Qiu. Olai's gaze was locked on the Lu clan's 3 great guardian elders. As for Chung He and the remaining 2, each of them locked on their targets as well. Swish, snap. When Chung He and the other 4 were about to make their move, the sound of sword whistling suddenly echoed in the air. It disappeared as soon as it appeared. Along with the sound of sword whistling, there was a sound of something being sliced. When the other 4 returned to their senses, horror dawned on their faces instantly. Dear Lord, what did they just witness? Lung Qi, who was originally hovering in the air with them, was forcefully stabbed in the center of his body. He died instantly after being sliced into 2. From the cold and aloof expression that still remained on Lung Qi's face and his gaze that was still fixed on Lu Qiu, one could see that Lung Qi had no time to react at all from the beginning until the moment his body was sliced in 2. Lung Qi was a martial artist at the 4th level martial monarch stage. If he used his spirit weapon and unleashed his full strength, his strength was almost equivalent to the strength of 2 ancient black dragons. Someone like that had just died in such a simple and swift way. He's dead. I didn't even have time to blink my eyes, and he's already dead? Many of the Lu clan's disciples were struck dumb with horror. Who's that? That's incredibly powerful. A lot of them were puzzled. Soon after, Chung He and the other 3 by his side, as well as the Lu clan's people led by Lu Rui, the clan leader of Lu clan, shifted their eyes to the center of the encirclement created by the Lu clan. A lone purple figure stood in the center. I am possible. The moment Chung He saw the purple figure, his eyes narrowed. There was a bewildered expression on his face as he repeatedly shook his head. It was as though he refused to believe the sight before his eyes. The three people standing next to Chung, he turned pale as well. Shit, why didn't Chung he tell us that this young man actually has such terrifying strength? There was only one thought in their minds at this moment. They felt as though they had been deceived by Chung He, the Elder Duan. Everyone from the Liu clan was stunned as they looked at the purple figure before them. It did not occur to them that Elder Duan, who displayed his origin energy that indicated he was at the first-level martial monarch stage, was so powerful. Liu Qiu, the former clan leader of the Liu clan, in particular, was shocked. Apart from that, his eyes even contained hints of dread and disbelief when he looked at the purple figure before him. Former clan leader, did you manage to see Elder Duan's movement earlier? At this moment, 4 voice transmissions rang in Liu Qiu's ears. It was Liu Rui and the Liu clan's 3 great guardian elders. Liu Qiu shook his head. Earlier, his gaze was firmly fixed on Lung Qi. His gaze did not shift until the moment Lung Qi was killed. However, although he had personally witnessed the scene of Lung Qi's body being sliced in 2, he did not see the attacker at all. Heck, he did not even see the shadow of the attacker. All he heard was the sound of sword whistling and the sound of Lung Qi's body being forcefully sliced in 2. This. When they saw Liu Qiu shook his head in denial, Liu Rui and the others narrowed their eyes instantly. When they shifted their eyes toward that purple figure again, their eyes were filled with disbelief. Liu Rui in particular, he still their battle with Lung Qi 3 months ago. Lung Qi had injured the purple-clad young man with just 1 blow. However, he managed to easily kill Lung Qi today. Moreover, Lung Qi did not even have time to react at all. The speed he used to kill Lung Qi was so fast that even Liu Qiu, one of the strongest people present on the scene, could not see anything clearly. Why, young master? In the distance, Xiong Quan stared at the purple figure hovering in the air with a bewildered expression on his face. Since when did his young master become so powerful? Feng Tianwu, whose injuries were healed, also had her eyes trained on the purple figure. A hint of emotion as gentle as water could be seen in her autumn eyes as she muttered, "His strength has made a huge progress." She knew very well he was avenging her now. The person he killed was the one that injured her. Isn't Elder Duan a little too strong? Isn't he only a first-level martial monarch stage martial artist? Many Liu clan's elders who had returned to their senses were struck dumb with bewilderment. Their gazes were also on the purple figure. Elder Duan is so strong. That guy didn't even manage blink, and he's already killed by Elder Duan. All of the Liu clan's disciples were looking at the purple figure with a burning gaze. Each and every one of them had a look of admiration in their eyes. Everyone dreamed of being the best of the best and to stand at the top of the world. However, not many people could achieve that. At this moment, they could see the shadow of their dreams in the purple figure. Due to this reason, he strongly resonated with them. The purple figure hovering in the air, empty-handed, was none other than Duan Lingtian. The milky white flames transformed from the origin energy had died down some time ago, even though nobody knew when. The heaven and earth phenomenon above his head had also dissipated now, leaving a sense of mystery to the crowd. Why you killed Lung Qi? When Chung He looked at Duan Lingtian now, the ridicule in his eyes had disappeared. Only fear remained in his eyes. Duan Lingtian turned around and glanced at Chung He nonchalantly as he asked, "What? Have your eyes gone bad because you're old, Guild Master Chung? Why you?" Chung He's face immediately flushed and his body trembled when he saw Duan Lingtian's piercing gaze. His trembling body caused his voice to quiver as well. Due to his quivering voice, he could not even complete his sentence after a long time. Everyone could see how scared Chung He was at this moment. His fear did not only come from the bottom of his heart, but it also came from the depth of his soul. What? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes and asked with interest. However, how could Chung He possibly answer him? His forehead and face were drenched in sweat now. No matter how he thought about it, he could not figure it out at all. 3 months ago, this purple-clad young man was like an ant in Lung Qi's hand. How did he become so terrifying in 3 months' time? How did he kill Lung Qi in such a way that Lung Qi could not react in time at all? At this moment, his heart was flooded with despair. When Duan Lingtian saw Chung He's lack of response, his eyes gleamed. He said in a speed that neither slow nor fast, "If there's a next life, please remember that you're not qualified to play with my fire even if you're a grade 1 alchemist." When he reached the end of his sentence, his body emitted a blood-curdling killing intent. When Chung He saw the killing intent from Duan Lingtian, horror dawned on his face as he shrieked, "No!" However, His shriek was abruptly cut off as soon as it left his mouth. Nobody knew when, but a slit had appeared on his throat. Fresh blood gushed out freely as the slit split open. As for Chung-hee, his gaze had already dimmed long before the slit appeared. The next instant, Chung-hee's body dropped down to the ground, and he died in a horrifically. From this day onward, the guild master of the Alchemist Guild's main guild in the southern outer land was dead. When Chung-hee died, silence descended on the scene. It was only when Duan-Ling Tian raised his head and shifted his gaze that the Lu clan's people also shifted their gazes in the direction where his eyes were locked on. Chung-hee's 3 helpers. Olai, the clan leader of the northern mountains, O clan. Mojia, the guild master of the Alchemist Guild's main guild in the southern outer land. There was also the old man with the surname Chen. He was the powerhouse who always followed and protected Mojia. His strength was in no way inferior to Olai, Lung Chi, and Lucio. However, Mojia did not feel safe at all after he saw how Duan-Ling Tian had killed Lung Chi with just a blow. Mojia took a deep breath as he looked at Duan-Ling Tian. He was flustered as he tried to explain, "Elder Duan, I was persuaded by Chung-hee to come here. I've no intention to be your enemy or to be the Lu clan's enemy." Currently, he no longer carried the haughty air he previously had. He was now as docile as a lamb in front of Duan-Ling Tian. Duan-Ling Tian was a little unaccustomed to the sudden change in his behavior. However, Duan-Ling Tian did not give a damn about him at all. His gaze turned cold in an instant. Everybody could see that Duan-Ling Tian was still standing in the same spot. Nobody saw him move. However, the guild master Mojia of the Alchemist Guild's main guild in the southern outer land had died on the spot. Mojia's head and his body separated and dropped to the ground in unison. Die. The moment Mojia died, the old man with the surname Chun turned pale, and his gaze turned cold. A saber appeared in his hands and slashed toward Duan-Ling Tian in an overbearing manner. At the same time, the heaven and earth energy whirred above his head. Finally, the heaven and earth phenomenon formed the silhouettes of one ancient black dragon and 8,000 ancient horned dragons. Whoosh! The spirit saber in the old man's hands slashed down toward Duan-Ling Tian in an overbearing manner. Duan-Ling Tian would split in two if he was hit by this. However, the lightning-fast saber in the old man's hands that contained the strength of an ancient black dragon and 8,000 ancient horned dragons still missed its target in the end. This was because when the saber in his hands slashed down, his target suddenly vanished without a trace in the air. The purple figure had also completely disappeared from the eyes of the 2 strongest bystanders, Lucio and Olai. Even they could not catch his movement. Whoosh! The purple-colored figure materialized again like a breeze as he appeared behind the old man with the surname Chun. When Duan-Ling Tian appeared behind the old man with the surname Chun, he asked indifferently, "That's all you have?" A hint of scorn could be heard in his voice. Shit! When the old man with the surname Chun heard the voice from behind, horror dawned on him. He tried to flee from the owner of the voice. However, his brain had already exploded out of his brain before he could even move.